Politécnico de Milán. El profesor Carlo Vezzoli es el director y fundador de la red Lens, el evento en el que ustedes están acá. La red ya tiene presencia en varios continentes alrededor del mundo y desde el año pasado se hizo un lanzamiento para que también haya un capítulo para la red Lens Colombia. Hoy y mañana justamente será el objetivo principal hablar más sobre los sistemas de productos y servicios sostenibles, tema en el cual el profesor Carlo Vezzoli es experto. Con toda la trayectoria de investigación a nivel internacional que ya tiene Carlo, hoy nos va a comentar sobre ese tema y a continuación tendremos el workshop para profundizar más en las herramientas que son descargables del sitio internacional de la red Lens. El profesor Carlo Vezzoli nos acompañó el año pasado en el evento de CODA, la red latinoamericana de Diseñador, y hoy, sin más preámbulos, queremos darle la bienvenida. Carlo, thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to share this with us. I was saying to the public about your work on the sustainability matters and from you being as the director of the Lens Network. So welcome again to our country. We're all yours.
Gracias, buen día a todos. And the translator has said hello, very nice meeting you. But I was speaking in Spanish, that part. I will go on. So, no, I'm joking. In English now, because unluckily I don't know your beautiful language. Yes, and I thanks Professor Lucas and Professor Carolina and all the other that has organized this, Professor Ricardo, organized this meeting of professor, researcher, but even students, you know, people that want to do and diffuse design for sustainability. We know how design for sustainability or sustainability in general is very important, and we get to know that designer can actually play a very key and important role into that, okay? On different level. From product design to selecting material to product service system design for the environmental dimension, for the socio-ethical dimension. So actually nowadays there is really lots of knowledge on how the designer could really be proactive in doing this. So how you are all designer, or start, maybe some are student, but you are a designer, you are a student, you are a designer. And I don't know why you will be there outside and you have to do that, okay? Okay, so there is a lot to know. What I'm going to talk to you about is a new role for the designer. I think it's quite interesting. The title of this presentation is Sustainability for All by Designing Sustainable Product Service System applied to distributed economy. Wow, too many acronyms. SPSS, Sustainable Product Service System, and DE, it means distributed economy. We will come to this, even though the presentation will be short. Think about that this is what I'm teaching, when I'm teaching this in Milán, Politécnico, this is a course of 50 hours, okay? So now we are going to have a 40 minutes, something like this, of a speech, and then a workshop with some surprises, and okay, so it's kind of an introduction to that. But I will give you even the reference if you want to deepen the issue, where to find either the video record of the lecture that I present in Milan, but even we are making courses all around the world. And so you can look at those, book where you can find tools and whatever, okay? So this is, take it as an introduction, okay? Said this, please, if there is any question you want to raise during the course of the presentation, raise the hand, or let's do it at the end, okay? Since I believe we are a little bit late in the schedule, and this is even maybe a little bit my fault, because I was working this morning, 3, because I have a bit of jet lag and I was coming right after the summer holiday with my daughter, so I have to, just some time to prepare the things here. But then just before Professor Ricardo come to pick me up, I fall asleep on the bed, and then they ring me. There is Professor Luca. Oh yes, so I wake up immediately. So I have my coffee here. I hope I will be awake enough to tell you something. I hope it's interesting on the upside. So let's go on. Too long to say this. So what I'm going to speak about is, you are all aware about sustainable development, don't you? Yes. You do? Yes? Raise the hand? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So it will be very short, but I want to highlight a few things that are key important for my discourse here. And then I will introduce sustainable product service system in a very short way with an example and a few things. These are win-win model in terms of sustainability because they join the environmental, the socio-ethical and anti-economical dimension of sustainability. Then I will talk to you about distributed economy. If sustainable product service systems are not known by all the persons here, I know some person that knows this because we have been working already together on this topic. Distributed economy are even less known. I don't lose time here to speak about it because it will be described later. And then, see, these are in the worldwide, when researchers are working on sustainability and looking to promising model, these are the two that are the most promising. What happened is that within a project that I'm coordinating right now, which is called Lens the International Learning Network on Sustainability is funded by the EU. You will know a few things at the end of this presentation. There are 36 partners all around the world. It's quite a nice project. But within this project, carried out by professor and researcher from very different perspectives, different part of the world, from South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, and so on. So it's quite interesting. We are working on what about applying SPSS, Sustainable Product Service System, to distributed economy. So what happens if we put these two business models together? Are they promising, even more promising? Well, if I'm saying this, you may guess that yes, there are some good things to say about it. So I will talk about this to you, and then you are all designer. I will say something about what about designing this? It's not like designing product, it's to design something on a more system level, and we will see this. And then a few words about the Lens network, because I want you to be aware of this, because either you are a professor, researcher, student, future designer, already designer, I want you to be aware of this, because this is a network open to everyone with all the stuff free of charge, copyleft, you can use it, so it's kind of really a source of knowledge that is continuously updated and that could be interesting for you if you want to do something in the future of this emphasis. Not a bowl of an ice cream over an ice cream. This is the globe. It's not a little bit melting on your ice cream, doesn't matter. Maybe you spoil your shirt. This is really releasing, you know how much ice has been melted. It means what a quantity of water has actually increased or rise during war. And actually the forecast of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is the biggest ever established group of researchers worldwide, the biggest. So, and there is everyone has a consensus on this, so there is no doubt that the humankind is causing this, the melting of this for global warming and the rise of war. So what they are forecasting, if we don't do anything, to mitigate the greenhouse gases emission, the level of water will be nearly 1 meter more in 2100. And you could say, oh, nice, I can swim in a place where I cannot swim. No, that's not, that's not really a good news. 1 meter more, it means that the equilibrium of the world will be totally, the equilibrium that we are having now will be totally different. I mean, everything will change. The monsoon, the winds, the energy that is in the atmosphere, the desertification in some area, and the flooding of other. It's really a disaster. For us, a disaster. For the nature doesn't care. The nature during the course of the millennia, they have glacial area, and so some species disappear, other cave, and whatever. The nature go on, say, oh, there is this human being there doing few things, okay, maybe there will be a global warming, who cares, I will do. The point is that the species, humankind and others, will actually potentially disappear because of the new climate condition and so on, or at least some elite maybe will be safe on the moon or in some protected environment and so on. But this is really critical. And I give you another information just to speak about the environmental dimension. And here I give, I'm going to ask you, can you guess? Some people may know, but so those are not allowed to raise their hand. But for the other, can you guess how many premature deaths, so how many people are dying in a year in the world because of air pollution? Can you have a guess about it? Carolina would say. Can you guess? Say a number. Sorry? 2 million. Wow! You know how many there are? 2 million? 2 million? Sorry? Maybe. Unlikely there are 6.5 million. 6.5 million a year because of the air pollution. These are a number of a world war. 6 million call up to my mind, when Second World War, the Nazis were, killing that kind of number of Jewish people. Right? So this is something that maybe is hidden. It comes on the news a little bit, but then it disappears. Because there are big lobbies, that want to hide this, because then they cannot sell their car anymore, they have to wait or whatever, other things like that. But this is the reality, okay? And to speak about the socio-ethical dimension of sustainability, which means to basically redistribute the resources worldwide. So there was a commitment in 1990 of the United Nations to radically reduce chronic hunger. People that go to bed undernourished without the needed nutrition that they have, so they die or they go to bad illness and so on. So actually, from 1990 till 2015, when the United Nations established a deadline for that, we can report actually a decrease in the number of these. And now there are only 795 million people suffering chronic hunger. Only. They are more than all, you are not from Europe, they are more than all European inhabitants. So like all, from the kids to the elderly, it's like they are, in all Europe they are suffering hunger, okay? And they risk to die or risk to have the worst illness and so on. The point is that if you go in, even if you take the numbers from the low-income people, for example, in Africa, this number has even increased of people suffering from chronic hunger. Okay? Okay, no, this is not really okay. Definitely the opposite. And this is saying something to us. We are coming close to the design. It has been, not me, but those great scientists made simulation and something like this, and we understood now that we have to reduce by 90% the consumption of resources compared to the consumption of resources in industrialized countries like US, Europe, Australia, and so on, to have a sustainable society. Consider the equity principle so that even low-income people may have access to these resources. Okay? 90%. It means that we have to use, for everything we are doing here. You come here, I don't know, you are sitting on the chair, I'm using a laptop, it's made with material, using energy, I'm using energy for this and whatever. All this has to be in average made consuming only the 10% of resources that we are consuming or that the industrialized country are consuming. So when speaking about sustainable development, this is what I wanted to say to you, because sustainable development basically, but this is important to know, is that we are really very close to the collapse. Collapse is a situation in which we will not be able to come back to the situation of the equilibrium in which we were living. Having resources to produce the products, the services that we need to eat and to do the things that we are used to do. And this is a matter of, not anymore a matter of decay, several years. It now starts to be an issue of years. We are now counting on years. Did you hear that in the North Pole, Groenlandia, a huge piece of ice, it cut from Groenlandia, and it started floating, and that is something that is in Italy now. We cannot go skiing anymore in many parts because there are no glaciers anymore. There is no water neither to pump. Now we used to pump the water to put that it comes in the night when it's cold, and it becomes fetch snow so that people can snow and something like this. So to have fun. It seems that something is happening, and I don't know what you are facing here. Maybe violent climate change, violent climate events and something like this. And that means that this is the point. We have to, when we think about sustainable development, we have to think about radical changes. Okay? Incremental changes, little changes are not enough anymore. We have to think about radical changes. And we have to start immediately to work on that. And when we speak about innovation, so even designer, okay, we work on innovation, we have to speak about system innovation. System innovation are innovation that are broader than single process innovation. It's not enough anymore to improve a single process to produce, I don't know, one type of polymer, or to transform it, or to do something like this. Needed on a product level, it's good, but that's not enough. We have to look on a system level, broader than this. And we will see this later, presenting something to you. So when speaking about design for sustainability, we have to add these two words: system, design for sustainability for all. For all, since then you get a point, for all it means that it has to be even for low and meaning people. Okay? So this is design for sustainability. They design for sustainability that we have to face. It's not that everyone has to do this. Someone could work on designing product with a low environmental impact. Someone else could work on designing services and other things. Someone could deal with the socio-ethical issue and something. But when we speak about design of sustainability in general terms, this is what we have to take into consideration. Maybe everyone with his or her own specific knowledge. And then saying, now and everywhere. We cannot wait anymore. There is no time, trust me. There is no time anymore. And you as designer, you can do a lot. You can do definitely a lot. Now you will learn that you can do even more than maybe you could have think. Not just designing product with a low environmental impact. So, sustainable product service system, except from few person I know, but do anyone here in the audience know what a sustainable product service system is? Okay, and to say this, I want to start with an example, so to make it not too theoretical since the beginning, and we have a short time. This is rather simple. Is a manufacturer of car, small, in UK. And what they are offering, they are not selling a car, but they are offering a car, and the client, the user, the BU, is paying a monthly fee. It's paid per period, you're paying this. And into this, it is included what? It is included the energy that is consumed by the car. It is includes the maintenance. If it breaks, you don't pay an additional cost. It is include the repairing, the collection at the end of the life, an upgrade of the car if that is needed, and so on. So within this cost, you pay a monthly fee. All the other is into that cost. And the ownership, and this is very important, of the car goes by the customer, the one driving the car. No, since he's paying per period, the ownership remains by reversible. So the producer remains the owner of the product. Maybe you can see similar example like car sharing. You have car sharing here, okay? You're paying per kilometer or per time. Basically, this is the same system. Not all car sharing are good, but they are example of PSS as well. I don't have the time to go into the detail of that, but now let's take this example. So this is one example. You can look at many other examples, and I will tell you where you can look at those. But I want to highlight in relation to this and to the other, what are the environmental benefits. And be careful here, the environmental benefits are benefits that are fostered by the economic interest of the provider. This is the key point. So, the manufacturer is interested in into this business model, is interested in designing car with a low environmental impact. You get a point? This is very important. Because if we just trust that, the car manufacturer are good guys that want to do something that is good for the environment, maybe we lose the battle. But these are business models in which it is for their economic interest to do this. And let's see why. For example, the manufacturer of River Simple or other SPSS is interested in designing long-lasting product, long-lasting cars. If a car lasts very long, what does it mean? That the car don't go to landfill. So you avoid the impact of landfilling, but you avoid even the impact of producing a new car, if that goes long, okay? The production of material for the car, the production of the same car, the transportation of the same car, the packaging and all these kind of things, you know. So if you extend, that's good. But why a producer, a manufacturer, reversible is interested in designing long-lasting product? Can you guess that? Can you guess that? Sorry? Okay, but and why this is an economic interest for the manufacturer if there is less garbage? Right?
Yeah, no, it's time is the most important.
Okay, it's time, but there is if you have to landfill, who has to landfill the car? The provider, the manufacturer, because he retained the ownership, okay? And so to landfill, it is for the provider, eh? No, for the provider it's a cost, isn't it? So, easy. They avoid the cost. If it lasts long, they don't dispose it or they postpone it. So they avoid. Immediately they avoid the cost. They are interested. It's an economic interest. Okay, I save money. Let's make it that last long. Not only. If it lasts long, since they are the owner of the car and they are offering other reversible, what are other costs that they avoid?
Wants to make the people buy a lot of products and continue buying. I think that the economy is not interested in products that extend life. That's why we are not doing anything better for the.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, because this helps the discussion. It gives another additional information. This is in a traditional sale. They sell and they want to sell another one. They want to sell. So if they last very little, usually if they have 2-year warranties, you're sure that after 2 years and 1 day, the product will be broken, so that they can sell a new one. But what? Okay. No, I can listen, but I don't know if you need the yes for a translation. Okay. I will handle the mic. Okay, but why in this business offer that it is an interest for the company, reversible or other, to have a long-lasting product? Why? What cost they are avoiding? Please?
Pues sería asociado a los costos, pues por los costos mismos de producción se está evitando producir más y asocia esos costos a la garantía o al mantenimiento o a reprocesos, digamos que en estar produciendo varios vehículos en una línea de producción, en una masa, costos de los trabajadores, de la misma fábrica, instalaciones, entre otros. Entonces estaremos disminuyendo pues, todos esos costos asociados a producción.
No, I think I get it. And you are right, or if I don't get it, say yes, I said this. No, I'm joking. I don't want to be sad. Oh yes, I have to die, so you know, it's coming. Now the point is that if it lasts long and you have to offer another car, if it breaks, you have to produce a new car. Buy new material, produce the car, make the finishing, transport and whatever. These are all costs for a company. If it lasts long, they don't have to do that. So they avoid the cost of landfilling, they avoid the cost of buying material, producing the car and so on. Or they postpone. So it's simply an economic interest. You get a point? It's for an economic interest to design long-lasting product. So for example, a producer will go by the designer and say, hey, you designer, if you don't design to me a long-lasting product, I will fire you out because you make me lose money. You get a point? And the designer, if it's well informed, would be happy. Oh, yes, what's happening? It's strange. No, it's not strange. It's an economic rule, okay? It's basic, but it's this. Okay, the same may happen, and I'll go a bit faster because I think that we have to do other things during the day. And there is an interest even in material life extension. This is, if you are not aware of product life cycle design, it's a bit difficult, but basically is to design for recycling, design for energy recovery, and design for composting. Okay? And why it's an interest for the manufacturer to do this? Because if they have to take the car back again, because it's in the ownership, they have it there. Oh, I have this car here, I cannot use it anymore, I have to landfill. A landfill is a cost, okay? So they have to pay for this. But if I have well designed so that I can recycle very easily some material, I can recover some energy from other parts, it becomes a value for me. I don't have to buy, I avoid the cost of landfilling, and I can recycle some material to make some other part of the car. But to do this, you have to design the car in a well way. So to be able to design product in a good way, okay? In this case, to design for recycling. Again, in an economic interest, foster the design of product with a low environmental impact. And I can go on in terms of design for resource minimization. Maybe I say just this. Because if reversible or rather are paid per month, of course, if the car is very efficient, it consumes very little per kilometer made, better it is for the company because they are paid per month. So if they are using the car a lot, or in average they are using something, but they are consuming less resources that the company are paying, they get more money. What are the money they get? They pay per month minus the energy because they are paying the energy. This is the deal. So they are continuously interested in improving the efficiency of the car. You get the point? Okay. And we can go on in, it's even related to design for material and energy renewability and biocompatibility, design for material and energy, non-toxic material, energy, and so on. Okay? In the socio-ethical benefits, here the point is that actually, or let me take this. Okay, it's written over there, but don't read that much. Can you guess why this is interesting for? Maybe I said something before, but can you say something why this product or offer product service system is interesting even for low and middle income context or people? So improving even the social equity and cohesion, so redistributing resources or goods and services that can improve the quality of life of people. Why? how the reversible is offered. They are paying who's a student? You're a student. You have the money to buy a car. You're a rich family, no? Or you're doing lots of work. Okay, you don't understand that much thing? No, you understand? Okay, and there is a translator. Oh yes. Sorry for watching. Thanks. Don't say bad thing about her. Okay, thank you. No, the point is you don't have the money to buy a car. You think you would be able to afford to have this reversible? I believe basically yes, because you don't have the initial investment cost. You don't have to buy the car, which is too expensive. You can use it, for one month or 1 week, because in that occasion, you want to go in vacation, or you need to go to visit some friend somewhere, maybe a hospital, I hope not, or somewhere else, or something like this. But that cost is really much limited. It's really affordable for you. It's not the cost of the car. It's really affordable. And the other thing is that if that car, if you buy a car because for some reason you win some money somewhere, then it breaks, you don't have the money anymore to repair it because it may cost too much. This happened not maybe to you, but to low-income people. This is happening many times. So maybe they have it because of donation, something, but then they are not able. They have something to pump the water to drink. Then the pump break, and it's there, not used, because they don't have the money to do that. In this case, in an SPSS model, what happened? Since it is included in the offer without additional payment, the maintenance, the repair, the substitution, the upgrade, and whatever, this is not a surprise cost. It's not a new cost, because the cost is included in the contract. When they offer, they pay per period. You get a point? So the company will repair it, and you as a customer, you're not paying anything in addition. So you can go on using car, the pump, whatever it is. Okay? So for this reason, they are even socio-ethically sustainable, because they are affordable for low and middle income people. Either they are end user or entrepreneur. So basically, if we want to make a schematic synthesis, there is a shift from a paradigm shift from selling product to selling what? I'm not selling any more product, but what we call a unit of satisfaction. What is a unit of satisfaction? The mobility, to move from one place to the other. Okay? This is what I'm selling, and this is what the other one is paying. The other thing is that the innovation is in the first moment is not the technological innovation, is an innovation in terms of new interaction among stakeholders. What does it mean? Is that I'm not selling a product, I am offering this as a service, and it's got a continuous interaction with the customer and so on. But as a consequence, okay, there will be even technological innovation. And the value for the customer is not in the individual ownership, but more in the access. I have access to the car to move from one place to the other. It's not that much the fact of being the owner of a car. What I like to have a car, yes, maybe, because we are in that society, okay? But basically, why I want to have a car? Because I want to go to visit my girlfriend or boyfriend, or I want to do something, that is the benefit. Distributed economy is the second promising model, and this is a second good news related to the panorama that I told you before. And to introduce you to distributed economy, I just make examples, so it's coming clear. If distributed economy is related to the generation of energy, we call distributed energy generation. It means, for example, is a generation of energy that is not centralized, is distributed. So, for example, you may have a solar panel in your roof, you can have a solar panel, you a solar panel, and all the others. So, it's distributed by the single user or nearby the single user. It's not centralized. Okay? But we can produce even product, which is the way nowadays very custom. It's even fashionable in some way. A way which is the way in which we produce in a distributed way product. 3D printing, isn't it? They are not big plants to produce product. They are small. You may have it in your home, or there could be someone in a neighborhood that could do this for a local community, or for the, I don't know, the condominium in which you are living, or something like this. So this is distributed production. Could be even related to not just product, like vegetable fruits. It's called urban gardening. So that you cultivate in your little garden or on your balcony some fruits and vegetables. So it's not centralized. You know, don't go to big supermarket. You know, but you do that in a different way. This could be linked even to software. You all know Linux, don't you? The operative system, you know, around the world that contribute with their knowledge for free, basically, to improve the system, which is actually much, much more powerful than any PC or Mac operative system. You know, when they have to, there is the husband of my sister, she's working in astrophysics. She studied the distribution of galaxy cluster of the distribution of cluster of galaxy. So, you know, huge galaxies are big. Cluster of galaxy is huge. The distribution of cluster of galaxy is, you know, something that we can neither imagine. And you know, to make calculation about those, they laugh when you say that use Windows or other things. They use Linux, which is much more reliable, so much more powerful, and so on. Okay. And then there could be distributed production of information and knowledge. You all know Wikipedia. This is made by in a distributed way. It's not centralized. It is made by you and me, and I made some contribution on design traceability and so on. But even design could be made in a distributed way. There are some platforms that enable you to co-design together with other person with open source design, so that you actually, it's not just one single person in one single office doing this, but this is made by a distributed network of designers. Said this, we can see again a paradigm shift from a structure that is centralized. You see there in the picture, the traditional one, you know, a big plants to produce energy that deliver to a big network to far away user the energy, or it could be to produce even product that now we can produce with 3D printing and so on. Moving, so the structure is centralized, that the scale is very large, and we move to decentralized and distributed when they are in fact distributed and usually small scale, small unit production. And why they are actually sustainable? They are environmentally sustainable because since they are locally based, local, you know, someone that is in a given place could be here, you know, when, whether he is a single user or a local entrepreneur, is much more interested in safeguarding the resources that they are using. Because if they use all the resources, as many multinationals are doing, then those will disappear. The multinational don't care, move to another place, and deplete the resources in the other place. But if you're working there, if you continue to live there, you want to safeguard the resources. If not, if you understand that your business will not go on, or if you are polluting the water that then your kids is going to drink, or you're going to drink, you will actually be much more careful about this. Okay? So you preserve resources, and you are much more interested in avoiding pollution of this. The other thing is, actually here it's not written, but that you reduce transportation. Of course, you know. If this is locally produced and locally delivered, there is less transportation. Here it was. It was there. Okay. And on the socio-ethical dimension, what happens if we give to local user the direct access to resources? You have the solar panel on your roof. I have the direct access of the resources, the sun that is coming on mine. And then this actually give to individual or to the community, local community, much more power on that. They are the one that actually produce and take these resources. They don't depend, you know, on big producer that decide what are the prices, how to deliver, if they want to deliver there or not, and so on. So these actually lead to a democratization of the access to resources. And at the end, actually even reducing the gap between the poor and the rich. Okay? This could be a long discourse, I have to make it short right now. Because I have to come to this other point, which is, what about if we put together, now we speak about sustainable production system and distributed economy. You understood basically why they are interesting in sustainable terms, either economic, environmental, and socio-ethical one. And this is part of the Lens project I told you, this university worldwide. So what happens if we couple, you know, these two paradigm shifts? If we put those together, if we apply to distributed economy, whether it's 3D printing, whether it's distributed renewable energy, you know, solar panel or small wind generation over the roof and so on. Let me tell you an example, okay? So to make this easy. Here we are in Tanzania, okay, Africa. Quite low-income context. And there is a company, Power, that is offering what? A distributed economy type. In this case, is solar panel, so a distributed renewable energy. Okay? And this is it's offering this plus some energy-using product, which are, I think, what are they? Yes, two lights, some lights, and some phone charger. But how they are offering this? This is distributed economy. They are offering as with an SPSS business model. So, can you help me to say how they would be offering this? Are they selling solar panel and light bulbs? Yes, she said, yes, please. And so, how they are offering this? Yes, or she said, oh, the same. If she can say.
I'm not sure, but I think it's kind of the same as a car, yeah? So it would be, you would pay per month, and then they will give it to you. You don't have to pay any cost for If it's damaged, broken, or whatever, you just pay for everything to your home and that's it. Okay?
Thank you very much. You want to come here to lecture, my sense? No, okay. Good. Now the point is this one, okay? So we understood that distributed economy are very, very interesting for locally based sustainability, but we understood that it's not said that then they're applicable. It's easy to diffuse. If people don't have the money to buy them, what we can do? And then we can produce these with a high environmental impact. It's not said. You know, a distributed generator of energy could be a diesel, powered by diesel. But if we apply an SPSS, the initially, I should go slower. Okay. The initial investment cost, the cost for buying this is lower, not worry, it's avoided, and I don't have the unexpected cost of repairing or maintaining during the course of the life. And the producer is interested in designing low environmental impacting product. So we have really a win-win solution for some type of economy, distributed economy, that are very interested for locally based sustainability. So here it's the synthesis of this. So if we apply these two business models, we cut the initial investment cost and the life cycle cost of the distributed economy hardware, whatever hardware we are using, solar panel, 3D printer, blah blah, extending to low-income people the access to this, and extending the use of this, because we don't risk the interruption of use, either to end user and entrepreneur. We even increase market opportunity. Are you aware about the BOP, base of the pyramid concept? Not really. Well, some scientists some decades ago, especially in the US, start thinking that the base of the pyramid is, when they speak about this, is pyramid is made like this, basically. So on the top there are few rich people, and on the bottom there are lots of poor people, okay? What some businessmen were thinking and saying that they were doing something good. What about if we produce very, very cheap product to low-income people so that they have access to this product, we give some added value to their life and so on. And it's true that we get very little money per each of the product, but since there are so many, at the end, we can make a good business. So this was basically the idea, okay? We could discuss, I had some doubt about this, but that is there, okay? Even here we have an approach for the base of the pyramid, but it's a bit different. Why it's for the base of the pyramid? Because there is not the initial investment cost, the cost to buy, there is not the cost for maintenance. So it's accessible even for the base of the pyramid. But what is very, very interesting for me, we are not giving very poor and cheap product. Not at all. They are maybe the most efficient, the most advanced product, because it's in the interest of the provider to deliver, a product that lasts very long, that consumes very little energy, that is easy to be recycled and whatever. So they are very advanced product for low-income people. So it's really very interesting for me. Okay, said this, sorry, though short, I speak so far about this business model, but and I think it was understandable. You're not economists, but I believe this could be understood, right? Maybe after a while you have to think about it a little bit, but now you get it. What about designing this? Well, we have been working within the Lens project to develop the new knowledge, so what the designer should know, and the new know-how. Know-how is the method and tools that may support a designer in doing this. So combining the knowledge that was already there, because we already have been working on product services and design for sustainability since 2005, so we have knowledge tools about that, together with the knowledge base and the know-how related to distributed economy. So what about when I have to design a solar panel or a 3D printer, how to do this, and so since we are interested in understanding how to design the combination, we have been working on combining this and redefining some knowledge, some way of doing, and some tools and so on. And so we came up, though the story is not over, we made 6 seminars around the world, we made 5 pilot courses of 2 weeks with professors coming from different parts of the world, being part of the partnership and so on. Okay. And when we speak about the new knowledge, the new role of the designer, to make it short, here I'm going to highlight 3 approaches and 3 skills which are quite different from designing product. That is something that maybe you are more used to do that, okay? The first one is that if you are a designer that wants to design SPSS, applied to distributed economy or in general SPSS, you have to have a satisfaction system approach. So you have to be able to design considering not the product at the beginning, not the car there, but why we want to have a car in a specific situation, to move from one place to the other. Okay, that could be, but it could be even more specified. I may need a car to move to one place to the other to see a friend, or to gather a recipe by the doctor. But if I have to get the recipe for the doctor, which is the unit of satisfaction in that case, maybe I don't need the car. It could be delivered through internet or through other things. You get the point? So before thinking to the object, the car, the tank has to be designed, yes. Let's design in a good way. Let's think about the unit of satisfaction. And open up our mind, okay? And so maybe some products that are there will disappear. And so in this case, even the opportunity for a designer, without thinking about sustainability, wow. And the opportunity that you have, they explode. You know, they are much more than what you may ever think. Because you can really change. The level of innovation could be great. I mean, it could be really very exciting on doing and working on that. So to speak about sustainability, I want to say even this as a parenthesis, it's not just, oh my God, I have to say that. Yeah, yes, let's do it. If you don't do it, we'll be very angry with you. But, I'm joking. No, I really, you are, trust me, you are the new generation. Or you do the things, or you do this, or we don't survive, okay? It's up to you. I'm doing something, but I'm not old, but I'm going, you are the new energy, okay? So, close the parenthesis. I don't remember what I was saying. Yes. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so you have to have to think about the unit of satisfaction at first, and then understand what are the mix of product and services that can fulfill, the best that can fulfill this unit of satisfaction. The other thing is that as a designer, if you want to think on a system level, you have to have a stakeholder configuration approach. What does it mean? What are the new skills? You have to be able to design the interaction among the stakeholders. So to identify which are the best stakeholders, which is the best producer of that product with that quality, or the user, or the end-of-life manager, and how I connect them together. Which are the services that one is providing to the other, which are the information, which are the materials, and in which way, and so on. So, usually I make the parallel when speaking about designing stakeholder configuration. Is like when I think to a product, like this laptop here, which are the components of this laptop? Maybe this case here, which is made of a material with a given shape, and this has some characteristic, okay? And then I have some joining elements here, and maybe something is glue here, there are some screws that put together, these components to be the product, the artifact. If I think up to a system level, who are the components? The components are the stakeholder, okay? The stakeholder are the component of the system. The different actors, stakeholder means the producer of that, the producer of energy, the supplier of energy, the user, this and that. And which are the joining elements among those? To make a metaphor, are not the snap fit or the screw, are the interaction. And could be interaction in terms of information flow, labor flow, material flow, financial flow. And you will be working on the design exercise in a while, a little bit about this in the workshop. Okay? You get a point? And you have to be, as designer, creative of this. You say, how can I be creative? No, you can't be. You have to imagine what could be the best stakeholder I can involve into this project. Oh yes. You will be working on eating, on the eating system in a campus, okay? And you have to be creative. Maybe thinking something out of the box. Who could be taken inside this to make a good partnership, to make something that is good for the environment, for the environmental dimension and socio-ethical dimension. Trust me, you can be very creative into this. And finally, but this is far obvious for the reason because I'm making a course on sustainability, that you need to have a sustainability system approach. It means that you have to design the stakeholder configuration, meaning identifying the right stakeholder and their interaction in a way in which it is for the economic interest of the provider to offer low environmental impact product and socio-ethically sustainable product. Because this is not said. Well, a good example or a bad example of a product service system which is not sustainable is a smartphone. Okay? They are offering many times the smartphone that you pay with a financial service, so you pay nothing per year, and together with this, so you have a service of a financial service to afford this, and then you have even the contract for 2 years, but then this product will not last anything. Basically, even before the end of the contract, there is a new product on the market and you will throw it away because there are new applications that are not supported by your mobile phone and so on. So this is a PSS, but it's not at all sustainable. So we have to be able even to design this PSS being sustainable. And you will be using a tool to generate idea, SPSS ideas that are environmentally and socio-ethically sustainable, which is a key point. Okay? Now here, it's said this because sometimes people are thinking, oh, you think about system level, this and that. Don't forget that when that is made, you define a condition in which it is interesting to design product to last long, to use less energy, and so on. So you have to be able to have the knowledge to design product that lasts long, because there is a theory, there are tools that consume less energy, that is easy to be recycled and disassembled. So there is something that you have to know. And even for that, for your reference, if you are interested into that, I don't know if there are courses here. This is a book of, sorry, I made a little bit of advertisement. This is the book I wrote. It has been translated in a few languages, and there is an edition in Spanish, so if you're interested in this, that could be purchased it's from Mexico, actually, because it has been translated there, but you can find it in Amazon and so on. And there is even the website of the publisher. So, for the last 4 minutes, I want to say a few things about the Lens network. I really want to know you, that you are aware about that. This is the project I'm coordinating, and is to diffuse design for sustainability in the curricula worldwide, specifically in some country. But what is interesting, and this is why I've been making this lecture to you now, that said is the research focus is on SPSS applied to distributed economy and the role of design into that. So what I've been saying to you, even very short, is part of the results of this research that we have been dealing with a consortium of 36 partners around the world: Mexico, Brazil, South Africa, China, India, and 4 in Europe. And actually this is the largest and most multi-regional EU-funded project that has ever been funded, actually. So it's really a huge project. Not speaking about design, not speaking about sustainability, it's really huge. So here you see we are very, it's a good of friends almost. We are really good friends. And Lens Colombia actually is, I was looking, yes, look, it's not inside this project, because Lens Colombia was launched after this project was financed. If not, maybe you would have been inside, but you see we are working anyhow together, and they are collaborating with us in our work. They have been translating, and with others. We try anyhow to be open, and of course we have some more money. For us it's easier to do something, but they are doing great things as well, as the Lens meeting they have organized right here. For your knowledge, this is the project that is now financed, but the Lens network now counts on more than 100 universities worldwide, with 13 regional networks. And actually it's missing less era. We have a new network recently launched, so it will be inserted here. And the aim in general is not to work specifically on SPSS. In general is to diffuse design for sustainability. Either is product design, either is service design, product service system, either is related to energy or social innovation or whatever it is. The aim is that we want that in any university there are courses on design for sustainability. We don't have time anymore. We have really to work a lot to diffuse this. And of course, I'm speaking with professors, but I'm speaking a lot with students. With my students, and the students are coming from abroad in Italy, and many of those, they were even actually the person that were speaking with a professor, going back to Peru and saying, "What do we have to do, professor? Why we are not doing anything about sustainability?" And then we launched Lens Peru, and and sometimes so the relation between we are getting older, but making research, teaching, and something, but but really you are the new generation, and you are the new generation being designer. But I really hope that you can be active, not just, taking, what is given by you as a lecture, as I'm saying now, but after that, really try to think if you can do something, if you can push to have courses, to have more knowledge about that, and so on. One thing that I want to say is that the ethos of the Lens network is that everything is for free. So either student, designer, professor can download everything for free. It's open code, so if there is a software, there is no code that you cannot, so there are free software using this. Everything is in copyleft. Copyleft is the opposite of copyright, so if a professor from Colombia wants to download a PowerPoint made by a professor from Brazil, because there is something interesting, or maybe from a Spanish country, from Argentina, want to download something from there, can download this, use what is interesting, remix, reuse, and so on. So to build up a community of people in a learning by sharing attitude, so that actually, since we have to speed up, why to hide our knowledge into the drawer and to make it, no, I don't want to. We need to actually share, and this is not only that we lose the copyright and so on. We learn more, even we, as single. And see, when we start doing this, actually, I've been learning a lot going around. Learning from other colleagues, telling me new things and so on. And this is very, 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 very important. And we have a web platform, I go very fast on this, where you can download and you can view courses, video, tools, case studies, and whatever. And especially professor, as I said before, can download, remix, and reuse to produce their own courses, or to help achieve, to start up the courses. The other thing is that the same platform can be downloaded. So in the different region, now we are developing a new platform. In the different region, there will be, even here in Colombia in a while, a Lens Colombia web platform, as it will be in other places. And then there will be an overall platform by which you can search in all, with the same interface, you can search in all the platform, looking resources, courses, lecture, tool developed by anyone. There is simply on the right side switch, I want to look on Lens Colombia, Lens Italy, and you put on, and the other you don't. Or on all, and you decide the language, and this and that. So actually, there is a distributed upload, a regional upload of learning resources, but you can look from the overall platform, which has the same interface, into all of those. Then we have some labs. If you want to know more about system design for sustainability, there is a book. Again, this is in copyleft, you can even buy that. It's a hard copy, you can download. And here are the references. I will leave all those slides to you available, so you don't need to take notes. There is something about SPSS and distributed economy, because that was a paper I presented in the ECODIAL conference here a while ago. And you can go even to look at the full course on the lens-europe.eu. You go there, you click on the course, on my course. Now there is just one because we are testing it. And there inside you can look at the video that I record you in the lecture. You can look at the slide. You can take the tools. You can look at the case studies and so on. Gracias. I did it. Thank you.